she goes.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Snellings. Present. Ferris.
Here.
Behrens.
Here.
Keating.
Here.
Eichmann.
Present.
Rom.
Here.
Schrader.
Present.
Garacki.
Present.
Quorum is present.
Thank you very much. First off, we have approval of minutes.
Move to approve minutes, regular meeting, December 23rd, 2024 is written.
Second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
There you go.
Thank you. Next, we have public comments. If anybody would like to come forward, speak to a maximum of 5 minutes. I'm going to say it no matter whether there's anybody here or not. Maximum of 5 minutes. Give your name, your address, and your ward. Seeing no one, we will move on into business and discussion items. First off, we have the Microcom warranty agreement in your packet.
Move to approve the agreement with Microcom.
Second.
And just for the contract went up $175 increase this year from last year. So
Nobody's
pretty
surprised it went up, but
No.
not terrible. And
No,
we've been, I don't know how many years.
it went up 80 last year, from
Yeah.
23 to 24.
I was gonna
So
say.
we're still, yeah.
So is this an ongoing thing? We
Yeah.
just
Annual.
revamp it every year?
Yep. But they've treated us right in. Doesn't feel like they're not gonna get caught speeding, I guess, by taking advantage of us, so.
And it's worth it.
For everything we have covered under.
Yes.
Are they always on a 1 year or 2 year? Can they
It's
go
just a
3 or
1
4
year.
or
I think it's
multiple?
just a one. I don't think they want to do more than that. I believe at some point, Kevin, maybe you've been around here long enough, we talked about that and we asked and they
Yeah, and they
said
didn't,
no.
nope, just 1 year is all they
Just we
want to
won't
do
do
at a
a
shot.
3 or a 5 or anything, yeah. But as long as they're incrementally increasing it, that's an acceptable thing, I think. All right, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
There you go.
Thank you. Next up, we have the police chief job description. Josh, did you have any comments on that?
No, on this, the admin finance committee talked about, the description, and they felt like these changes were necessary in order to open up, the position to more people. We're not, asking for somebody with less experience. We're actually just opening up the education portion, so that way, you can apply if you have 7 years of experience, but no bachelor's degree. Before it was limiting in that fact.
And this does pretty well align with the other job descriptions that we have, so that it makes sense that they're harmonized that way. Anybody have any questions or comments on this job description?
Move to, do we need a vote on?
Yeah.
Okay. Move to approve the police chief job description changes.
Second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
There you go.
Next up, we have the Highway 77 engineering agreement. You have in paper in front of you.
So this comes after the street committee meeting that we held. Since we are adjusting the plan, we are needing, the scope of services, we are needing to change the engineering fee, unfortunately. Even with this change and increase on the engineering side, we hope to save more money on the actual construction side.
Move to approve the engineering agreement.
Second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. Is there any further comments or discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
There you go.
Thank you. All right, see no notices or hearings tonight. We will move on to the consent agenda.
Move to approve consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
There you go.
Thank Then we have appropriations ordinance 3839.
Move to approve appropriation ordinance 3839 in the amount of $128,223.66.
Second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call?
Snellings,
Yes.
Ferris,
Yes.
Barons,
Yes.
Keating,
Yes.
Eichmann,
Yes.
Braun,
Yes.
Schrader,
Yes.
Gurecki,
Yes.
Ado.
Thank you. Now we have the city administrator report.
Yeah, so, just want to say thanks to all of our street crew and all of our city employees that were out, during this winter storm. They were able to get the roads cleared, and, you know, they're basically dry today throughout most of the roads, so, except where there were some vehicles that were parked throughout most of it. Otherwise, we are needing to set up a budget workshop. I know last year we did it during the middle of January. I was hoping that we could do it during the end of January or start of February, if that's possible. Do you guys want to try to set it up now, or do you want to?
We can set it now.
Are you thinking in evening, I presume?
Yep. So if possible, during the last week of January, 27th through 31st, any of those days work?
We have council the 27th. The only day I cannot do is the night of the 29th. Any other day I'm free.
I can't do it the 28th.
I'm the same as you, Lori, I can't do the 29th, but I could do any other day.
Pretty much out most of that week.
Oh, yeah.
Available in the.
Can we move into the first week or two of February?
So that's the 3rd through the 7th?
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's fine.
Whatever.
I prefer
Got
not the
nothing.
3rd.
I got nothing that week either.
I just don't want to do a budget workshop on my
Anything
birthday.
about the third.
To be honest, I'm just gonna be honest, man, come on. That's a bummer of a birthday.
4th of February.
I won't be there.
Fifth of February.
Gosh.
Oh, yeah. How about the 5th, the Wednesday?
Court. With the first.
Could
First and fourth.
we could do it at the fire hall.
Yeah.
Sorry, they
That-
don't meet the first Wednesday.
Oh, so either way.
Yeah.
Or court doesn't meet the first,
Court does, the fire.
department doesn't meet the,
Okay.
first.
okay. So
So
the 5th,
We'll send it off February 5th at the fire station.
At what time?
Six is fine.
We can start earlier if you need it, or 6 is the prime time, that'll be fine. Keith,
Isn't
6 work?
5:30 usually the
I
earliest?
was gonna say, is 5:30 too early for you?
5:30? No, not really, but
Let's do 5:30, so that way we give everybody half an hour back.
I can make 5:30.
if I'm late, I'm late.
Okay. Sounds good. Kyle and Tony were signed up for the KRWA conference in March. So that got me thinking about the conferences that, I'm requesting to be attending. So that's the, Kansas City and County Management Conference in April. The League of Kansas Municipalities in October. And then also the ICMA one is in October. And then the Kansas Association of City County Managers is in December. I can get you the dates for all those except the last one if you want them.
I think that, no offense, being a young city administrator, that we need to approve to let you go to those events.
Did you go to those same events this year?
This year I skipped out on the April one since I had just gotten here. And then I didn't go to the December one since we had a lot going on, so, otherwise I went to the other two. And, you know, it also could change like that, again, if we got a lot going on.
Well, and we appreciate that
Yeah.
you recognize that, you know, you aren't gonna go hell or high water, so. Yeah, I think that makes sense. I appreciate you getting in front of that. I don't know if you need formal approval or if you want a consensus.
I think that's within his spending budget.
Yeah.
To
Okay,
do that kind
that's
of
just
stuff.
fine.
So,
Alright, And then, on Elm Street, there's been a leak between 9th and 10th Street. Jadwin's going to try to get out there this Thursday and Friday, but if the weather is, below freezing, they won't be able to. But if they are able to work on it, that road will be closed there. So just wanna make sure everybody's aware of that.
Where in the block is it, Josh?
I believe it's closer to the church and the,
Okay.
Kester House.
Someone told Lori it was coming up out of the manhole.
Reach.
That wasn't on Elm Street, that was,
No, this one was on the
Oh,
north
the
side of
water
town
main
up by
break.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that was a mess this morning.
Yeah. So they were out cleaning that up. And then also with all this, work on the roads, we already had our one salt truck into the shop, but the engine is needing to be rebuilt. They put stop leak in it to, try to salvage it for this time, and it worked. But we did lose 4.5 gallons of antifreeze throughout the process. So we can continue doing that, and just knowing that that's gonna be the loss. But to rebuild the engine, it's gonna be 12 to 18,000.
Is it a head gasket, or what is it?
I don't know specifically. And then, we're also needing a new blade for it, and that's gonna be an additional 1,500. So we're talking about close to 20,000 on the top end. I believe we bought some recently for 30,000 that were used, so we might wanna be looking into that again.
Maybe surplus it.
Surplus items, yeah.
Yep. So, otherwise, the traffic signal at 10th and Center, they are working on it. That's all I can really say about that. We got a bid recently. I haven't looked at it yet, but we'll get to work on that as soon as we can.
How's that work? Do we know how it happened or?
Truck?
Yes, it was a semi-trailer, yeah.
So their insurance
Yeah,
companies?
is there?
That's what we're hoping, yep.
Okay.
Yep, but it's off to our insurance, so that way, that can be handled there. We also had an accident with one of our plows, on Saturday, so we're also handling that through insurance. And then Trails Park was vandalized recently, so, we need to be thinking through ways to protect it a little bit better, or, I don't know. We really don't wanna be, closing it. They basically went up on the levee, drove around in trucks, or I assume trucks, and, lots of ruts were up on the levee and then also near the park, so,
We don't have
I think under the
cameras out
bridge.
there or anything.
Nope, so that's what we're
Pictures in the council
looking at.
report of what they did, if you look at that.
So the police have that mobile camera.
That's what we're talking through with the police and then also with the Parks Department, under
There's
Dawn.
electricity out there, so if we need electricity for the camera setup, we could do that.
Yeah.
Yep, so, we're talking through whether it's worth our resources to have cameras set up out there, or if we just do trail cameras, or what do we do? Ultimately, we don't wanna close it down, because of the education piece with the Trails Park, but
when you say
it could
Trails
come to that.
Park, what are we referring to?
That bridge, that,
One bu-
the,
The
Well,
ferry
the-
park,
Under,
The
yeah,
ferry
ferry
part, yeah,
part,
the
underneath the
Marshall Ferry Park.
west viaduct
Yeah.
there.
And that's where the, levees and stuff are, and that's where they get down there. They have to go in, clear down here.
Spring,
Yes.
over Spring Creek.
Seems like we have troubles every year.
Yep,
We do.
and we expected a little bit,
But it's such a broad area, you can't just put
Yeah.
up some bollards or
So-
something.
and with our levy
the
system,
levee
we could
disruption is
get
the issue,
yeah.
points
Get in
taken away
trouble.
on that.
So can you get the cellular trail cameras or deer cameras?
We are talking through that option
Yeah, the
as
police
well.
have those available.
So,
Yeah.
that is something we're looking at though. Yep, and I think last year they put up signage out there just to let them know that there's cameras, but, yeah. I believe that's all I have for right now.
Thank you, Josh. Standing committee reports, I know we had an admin finance committee meeting as well as a street committee meeting. I know we've previously covered a little bit of the admin finance committee discussion in regards to the police chief job description and the street committee discussion in regards to the Highway 77 engineering agreement. Were there other items discussed at those meetings?
Yeah, so admin, finance, we
Was
also
the
talked about the
animals.
animals.
Yep.
Ultimately, it was decided that we should continue researching it. We had a resident come forward asking for, us to allow sheeps and goats and other types of, animals that could be submitted into the 4-H fair.
If they have the 2 acres.
If, yeah.
Right.
Oh, there's still that limit.
Yeah.
Because in our ordinance now, the 2 acres does horses, cows, and chickens.
And 6 hen chickens.
Yes,
yeah.
6 hen chickens. But
Just
nothing.
6?
Yes,
Okay.
nothing,
Maybe with more.
Need to get rid of some there, Jeff?
There could be some guinea pigs, and they're not all chickens.
but, and they wanted anything that could be a 4-H project to be able, as long as you had the 2 acres.
Goats, rabbits, sheep.
Pigs.
Ooh, no.
I feel like he said
So-
no pigs.
Yeah,
Like he said, if
well-
I were you, I would steer clear of the pigs. But
I mean, it's.
that's up for discussion.
I mean, and it's certainly something we could edge into without opening it wide. That's sort of what we've already
Right,
done.
so- Yeah, I think we need to write into the code too, making sure that the habitat is sufficient for the health of the animal and, what I mean.
One thing we talked about was making sure there's a limit on each type of animal, because right now you could have as many cattle as you could
Yeah.
fit on 2 acres.
A limit,
Um, So,
There's a certain carrying capacity.
Yes,
That's true.
but people would push it.
Yeah. Just carrying capacity is almost.
So, but we asked Sammy to see if she could find some sample from other cities
Yeah.
to see what they were doing.
And I've always thought about that whole thing. People talk about chickens. I really don't have a problem with that. As long as you are providing the proper habitat for them or the proper spot for them to live. Chickens,
And keep it.
I'm not so much on, we made a mistake one time as a kid and got a little sheep from a county fair and brought it back to a dairy farm. I wouldn't want to mess around with a sheep. I can tell you that much. But I don't have a problem with somebody wanting to do that regardless of what their acreage is. But if they're not providing the proper spot for them to live and keeping off the road, then that's where the problem comes in.
Maintaining it.
So I
Yeah.
was gonna say, I guess, how do you police that? Is it a yearly inspection? Is it a,
It almost
you know?
has
And I imagine, you could basically make it to where you have to renew your fee pay a fee yearly to renew it and have an inspection done.
I think it's kind of like buying a tag for your dog,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Essentially.
You might not put a tag on them.
Yeah, but.
That'd be kind of weird. The chickens might peck each other over
Yeah,
those
I mean,
tags,
essentially,
but
that's kind of how I.
I honestly, I'm just gonna go out on the record that I have no problem with small animals in town. But if you're not maintaining them and providing the proper spot, and you're just putting them in a old garage, that's not the right thing to do. I mean, they need to have an outdoor space, they need to have a separate space from any dwelling, and that's just my opinion, but
Well,
I'll leave it at that.
let me throw this out there. We have a problem getting people to maintain their properties, and then we want to throw animals in on top of that. So there's some people that, I'm just.
It's a two-way street. I mean,
Yes, it is, I know.
I think that's a good point, because there's a lot of people that do a very good job of maintaining their property that would like to have a small little, for whatever reason, a few chickens or whatever. I hope not goats, and definitely not goats, no goats.
Just look at the front of my car.
Yeah, no goats, no dairy cows or anything like that. But if somebody has a facility to maintain their stock, that's okay with me. But if somebody just is gonna get some animals and throw them out in the backyard, that, they made no effort at that point, so.
All right, well, sounds like there'll be more research and more discussion.
And I did not make it to the, to that meeting.
We will walk before we run.
One of those towns I would suggest is Marysville. I mean, I heard they do it the right way.
Well, and I feel like as the prices of things like eggs have increased, the arguments for allowing some chickens sort of increase as well, but.
Self-sufficiency, and, you know, you're also, if you're talking about the rabbits and the goats and the sheep for the kid, anything to keep the kids busy and.
No
give
goats.
them something productive
It's
to
a product, yeah.
I think it just creates buy-in for knowing and understanding where your food comes from.
Right.
Sure, sure it does.
Responsibility. I mean, I was in 4-H, so
Well, I was gonna say, all due respect to the, you know, Shawnees or Missions or Overland Parks of the world, but we're a rural community. I don't think we need to lean away from that entirely.
Oh, no.
But anyway, anything else discussed at the Admin and Finance Committee meeting?
Just the
Yes.
prosecutor.
Yep, prosecutor wages.
Okay.
Yeah.
Street committee meeting, anything besides the US 77 discussed?
that was a bulk of it. What else we discussed?
Proposal
Dawson.
for minimum.
Yeah, discussed that. And then Dawson Drive.
Oh, the misalignment or
Oh, yeah.
realignment or,
Yeah, I mean, that's some of it. Apparently there's not an easement from, 11 Terrace all the way to concrete.
Wow.
So, have we made any?
that's a legal question
Yeah.
about proceeding?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean.
Pretty much what we decided.
Obviously, obviously that dirt out there is for sale right now. If that were to be sold, that gets murky.
Problematic. Yeah.
I
So-
think we need to have an easement
Yeah.
for concrete.
One way or the other. Now,
One
whether
way or
it's
the other.
as it lies or as it's
Yeah.
written is a, you know,
I think as it lies right now.
well, we'll wait for the attorney's comments on that and then move accordingly. But in the interim, probably not doing anything adventurous on land that's not even a street in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Sound right?
Yep. Exactly right.
Okay.
And then 12th Road, there was a estimate that was given from a local company for what we're looking to do out there, which the committee then asked to bring it to council to open up the bidding for it. If you guys are ready for that, then we'll go ahead and put the packet together for that and get it out to all the companies that we know of, and then of course advertise it as well.
I don't know why we would wait. I guess my thought is
Yep.
it's a safety
Needs to be done.
issue and it's neat, we need to make progress and this is what it looks like, then we need to go.
Agreed.
Is that consensus of the council to move forward?
Yes.
Yes.
That's good.
Okay. Good. All right, anything else related to the standing committees? I don't believe there were any other committee meetings. No. Okay.
Have we heard anything back about the youth advisory?
I know I've been included on the internal emails inside the school, so I see that there's discussion. It's been put out by the principal to the staff to come forward with, you know, recommendations and start working on it. But I don't have a list or anything yet, but it's in progress and it's definitely being discussed. I've discussed it with a couple staff members. I mean, people I think were aware that it was, you know, going to be happening, but I think there's a little bit, I mean, I don't get ahead of myself, a little excitement about it. Like people think, oh man, there's some really good candidates who, you know, could be part of the organization. So I hope that builds and I'll be back when I know more with that, but. All right, moving on to appointments and wage terminations. You have in front of you the nomination or appointment of Aaron Westbrook for city prosecutor, effective January 2025 through December 2025.
Move to approve the appointment.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. And next we have city attorney, and I guess we should welcome our new city attorney, Luke Sunderland here. And if you wouldn't mind giving us the Cliff Notes version of your background and where you're from and all the amazing things you're going to do for us, that'd be great.
Okay, sounds good. Supreme Court, here we come. Luke Sunderland. First off, I'd like to formally thank everyone for keep the opportunity to work with you guys. Lifelong Northeast Kansan, originally from Sabetha, where I am now. So after college, I went to K-State, just to make sure I get at least one okay to the council here, showing its colors. So after getting my degree at K-State, I worked for a year, after which I went to Germany, actually, University of Hamburg, where I studied and got my master's degree. And that's where I met my wife, who is a German, so she's moved back with me. And so I call that one of my greater, things that I picked up from a foreign country. She doesn't find that joke very funny. Anyway, went to law school at KU just to make sure I cover all my bases for any of the other votes I need to get on the council. And then after which, then I started practicing up in Sabetha, typical small town practice, and I absolutely love it. I feel like I've really found my niche in life. So got one, about ready to be a 2-year-old, and beyond that, love the traditional small town hobbies of hunting and farming and all the other goodness that small town offers. But of course, I enjoy working with people and then and public entities like yourself. So city attorney here, of course, and then working with Sabetha and Seneca, and then miscellaneous, a lot of other towns in third class as well. Forward to being able to have some new opportunities here and provide some expertise and some advice going forward.
Well, thank you. Welcome.
Thank you, yeah.
Do you have anything for us this evening?
Nothing formally, just a discussion later in executive session.
Okay.
Josh, I think will, I guess.
Well, the next section of our agenda is executive session, so we can jump right on in.
All right there.
So, I don't know what is this in regards to, and who would like to read us in? Okay, Kristen, with it?
How long is this?
What are we discussing?
Should be non-elected
Non-elected?
personnel.
Okay.
And then how long do we need?
You said 15 minutes. 7:45.
7:45.
What's that?
7:45.
Okay. I move to the city council recess into executive session to discuss personnel matters of non-elected personnel, discussion on specific personnel matters, not general personnel policies, exception KSA 75-4319B1. This session will include the mayor, city council, city administrator, and city attorney. The open meeting will resume in the city council chambers at 7:45.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
8 of them.
Yep. We now return to open session from executive session where no binding decisions were made. I think we might need another executive session.
We do. I move the city council recess into executive session to discuss personnel matters of non-elected personnel, discussion on specific personnel matters, not general personnel policies, exception KSA 75-4319B1. This session will include the mayor, city council, members, the city administrator, and the city attorney. And we will resume the council chambers at 8 o'clock.
Second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
8.
We now return to open session from executive session where no binding decisions were made. Does anybody have any other need for any further executive sessions? All right, we'll move on to council comments. Lori.
Maybe they're gonna love me. I'm gonna read an email. And I know a couple other people got this, I'm pretty sure. All right, I'm reaching out in regard to the health and safety of our patrons residing in the Elm Street apartment complex here in Marysville. I would like this brought up in an open discussion at the next council meeting. I have contacted KDHE as I was talking to an individual about this situation, and all I had to say was an apartment complex in Marshall County, and they by name knew I was talking about Elm Street Apartments. They have informed me there has to be a housing code put in force by council by an ordinance in order for them to take care of the infestation of bed bugs and roaches. We have a patron specifically that has bites and sores all over their body. Unfortunately, this person is a mentally challenged who does not understand the problem or does not have a representative that can do anything about this problem. We also have talked to some exterminators and they refuse to walk into their building. The only way the Housing Authority and KDHE can enforce anything is by you, the city officials, putting in an ordinance. Again, I would like to stay anonymous. Please, for the health and safety of our patrons, get this taken care of as soon as possible. So I don't know what this entails, how we fix this problem, what we do about this problem, but
I feel like this has been a long time brewing. Maybe there's been other concerns and issues, and the city's been remiss in, I think, regulating some of the derelict rental situations. Kind of circling back to the conversation earlier about people can't provide adequate habitat for humans, then what hope is there for critters? This is, I think, kind of a legal question. I don't know if it's something that you've had a chance to kind of look at, Luke, or if you're working on.
Yeah, I have, Josh and I have been in contact and have already started the first couple steps as far as getting this resolved. There's a couple ways of going about it with the code, and so it's not a matter of just figuring out where it falls in the code, but what type of remedies are available for us in the code. Looking at the code here, I would point that we do have a minimum housing code.
Okay.
Hopefully that's everything there is sufficient for KDHE to go. But for big problems like this, there needs to be a lot of different avenues to have it resolved.
Okay.
So, but yeah, as far as city, our legal side, we're definitely pursuing it.
perfect.
We're looking into trying to make sure that there's a process, make sure that it's the right process, because you want to make sure that you do it right. So, we are trying to make sure that, even we've talked with the person that emailed already, and, we want to make sure that they're aware of what we're doing. We want to make sure that the health department's aware of what we're doing. We want to make sure that, and we've already started talking with the management there. And so we're trying to work with all parties to make sure that, we are moving along. It is a difficult situation there, unfortunately. And it will take time, but we are trying to move forward, and we'll keep this top of our mind as we, keep going.
Perfect.
Does the code need to be revised in any shape, way, or form?
There's always a possibility of that, specifically when looking at the process. Right now, it covers it. It's just about the action after that we need to look at.
But right now, as it says, KDHE has what they need then with that code to move forward.
I can't assume what KDHE says they
Oh.
says they need. If all they need is a minimum housing code, as the email indicated, we have a minimum housing code.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
For bringing that up, Lori. Do you have anything else?
No,
Okay,
that's all I got.
thank you. Sheree?
No, I wanted to thank the road crew for all the snow removal. I know we got emails about complaints, which you're gonna get that all the time. I could be one too if I shoveled out my walk and they invited me back in again. But they did a great job and really quick. They were right on
Worked
it.
their butts off, yeah.
They did.
They were right on it.
Colleen?
Nope.
Jeff? Keith? Kevin?
Yes. Sidewalks. It's been a week since it snowed. There's about probably 40% of sidewalks in front of people's houses have not been scooped yet.
Some of the worst ones are where kids are walking to school and otherwise as
they
well.
are.
Yeah,
We have businesses up the highway here, a kid works up at Sonic and walks through it every day.
We have a city code for that, right?
Yes, we do.
and,
24 hours, it's supposed to have been scooped.
no, and I
If there's
understand,
ice, you are supposed to put sand down, so that can't be a barrier.
So I don't know how we need to enforce it.
I mean, I don't think we need to necessarily crack a hammer on folks, cause to be fair, we didn't have a lot of snow last year, and we didn't have a snow for a long time this season. That said, rules are rules, we probably need some friendly education.
It's been a week.
Yeah, I know, and the thing of it is, if you don't get it soon, it gets trampled on, it just gets harder.
They're not gonna move it where the kids have walked on it.
No, it's, unless it really heats up, it's
Yeah.
To
stuck.
Josh's point, put sand down and that really helps. So.
Yeah, oh, sure it does. And take off whatever you can and then put the sand down and, yeah, I think it's an educational thing. I don't know if
You know, we go through
knock
this
on
every
some
year.
doors.
I bring this up.
Yeah.
Every year.
Every year.
Yeah,
And
It's
if
not a
they
new
can't,
rule.
if they cannot do it, call somebody. There's kids out there that was looking, I mean, I had 3 or 4 kids knock at my door.
Yeah.
Cause I didn't get mine, the Monday, I got mine Tuesday. And one if I wanted mine scooped. I mean, there's kids out there willing to do it, so.
and if you know your neighbor needs help your neighbor.
Yeah.
I mean, scoop a little extra, it goes a long way. It's good for everyone.
I'll maybe start talking with Wayne to see if we can do something on that side of things where extra people that could help. We can't
Oh, I know.
do much more than what we are doing.
Report
But
or something so we can
He
get
can
that
get a
going.
list
is there a
of
group of
people.
people
That's
that
what I
are
was
willing to
gonna say.
help?
If we
So.
could have a list available, so that way, I mean, that's just
It's like
one.
the mowing list,
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah.
Right,
Call it the snow patrol.
there you go.
All
all
right,
I have.
so you got, Chris?
Again, just a big thank you and shout out to the city crews working probably longer hours than I've worked in a month or two. And they did a really good job and they did it expeditiously and it's good. The only thing I have, just a question, do we have a program in place or is there something we can do where people don't get their vehicles moving out to be, cause with my job, I drive a lot of the streets, so I see a lot of what goes on the streets. And, where people park they don't have driveways or garages, so there's a lot of street parking. So when the plows can't, the cars are parked there, they go around them. Is there any program or situation where we could set up, maybe the cars park on one side of the road one day and I don't know what the answer is.
It's called odd even parking,
Yeah,
and it's been brought up here many times.
I know you've brought it up before, and I know it's not without its challenges, but I've seen more people discuss it in the last week than I had in a while. But something like that, where you do certain streets certain days, or certain sides of the street, I think we can probably, I've talked to Josh a little bit about it, that we can look at building a program that's not overly punitive. I think that's where the challenge lies is.
The nice thing about it is if you got a flat tire and you gotta move your car, you get it moved.
Yeah,
It doesn't sit there in the same spot for 5 months.
yeah, it forces everything that's on the streets to move. But I think you can do it in a way that's not, like I said, punitive. I think you can kind of maybe build a program. I know it's something that we're not gonna do overnight. I mean, that's kind of the comment. I don't know how I don't know how the street crew would feel about it, what their opinions are, but I think it's something we can explore and should explore.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. I don't say this wanting to put even more pressure on the street crew and having more work to do.
Right.
I'm just saying that I've had, the most comments I've had about how wonderful the team did and what they did good. And it's just driving the streets, I'm new to all this, I don't know all the regulations and codes and what can be done. But it's just something to think about, I guess. And
Yeah.
maybe we can come up with some way to make it a little easier, I guess.
Maybe we need to include the street department, those guys in on the conversation.
I definitely think so. I mean, they're the ones who are gonna have to face
Yeah,
it
for
down.
sure.
They're the ones out working the long days and dealing with it. They're gonna have opinions that we should listen to for sure.
Why don't you put it to a committee?
Well, yeah, that can be, I don't know, street committee can work on that and use the knowledge and expertise of our city staff to maybe come up with some ideas. If nothing else, we should do everything we can to make it easier. We're, you know, for all the complaints that, you know, people have, and some of them are more legitimate than others, I think everyone understands that the crew's working really hard and doing the best they can, and some of them are new, and we all learn as we go, so whatever we can do to make their lives easier, and make their jobs easier, is gonna make it better for everyone. So if we can get a street committee meeting together on it, I know we may not get a whole lot accomplished before we're out of snow season if we're lucky, but, I think it's a good plan. So, if we can look at putting that together, that'd be great.
Other than that, that's, like I said, just a big shout out to those guys. And that's a lot of
Absolutely.
long hours and a lot of hard work.
And our streets are still better than a lot of other towns. I've been around enough over the weekend.
Dry in the center,
Oh.
it's good, you know, you may have to wait and let somebody pass, but so what, at least they're passable.
I mean, I don't know if we have any salt left, but
Oh, yeah, there's.
We just got another load recently.
good. I
so-
was gonna ask if we did, so. All right,
That's all right.
thanks, Chris. Cup.
Just kind of to echo everyone else's comments, just big shout out to the guys that work, I've worked those hours, 12 on, 12 off, and it's a grind, so I appreciate everything they do. So, that's it for
All
me.
right. Well, I've got no further comments, so I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn, second.
Okay. Any further discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?